start, directly at 6:30. But for those of you that are already here, welcome. I'm so excited that you decided to spend your quarantine evening with us on tonight. So Single Talk, if this is your first time being a part of any of our sessions, Single Talk is an extension of Saved in a City, and it was a group that was created to dispel the myths that are surrounding singlehood. To take away the idea that singleness is a bad word. It's okay to be single if you're in a place of growing, if you're in a place of seeking wholeness. I think more of us should have spent time single before we jump into relationships, right? And so, again, we're not promoting not being in relationships. We think that that's absolutely amazing. That's always the goal, usually for most of us. But if for some reason you're not in a relationship right now, or you're not in a marriage, well, if you're in this group, you definitely shouldn't be in a marriage. But if you're walking this journey out, know that you're not alone, right? And so this community kind of reminds you of that. And so if you know the goal of Single Talk, y'all should be able to say it without me even saying it, because it's 10,000 singles, what? Saved, whole, and free. Saved from what? The power, the penalty, and presence of sin. That's the first part. Whole in mind, body, soul, spirit, and finances. We about to throw that up in there. And then free from the opinions of other people, free from bondage and soul tie, just free, right? Free from debt, free from worry, all of those things. And so in order to achieve that goal and to achieve that mission, I decided to create at least a monthly event that will speak to the various needs of singles. And the thing is, when it comes down to it, the various needs of singles is simply the various needs of human beings. It's really nothing that's that much more special or less special. We all are looking for a better way to handle our finances. We're all looking for love in some form or the other. We're all looking for connection. We're all looking for understanding, for hope, right? For direction, for success. We're more alike than we are different, right? So today's session specifically, last month we dealt with mental health and healing, and talked about what that process looked like. And we had Lakeisha Russell on, and then we had Dr. Joel Peterson. And today I'm so ecstatic. I just want to call her the financial doctor. The financial coach. Well, it's a fit perspective. I think that's such a cute name, and we'll get into that. But without further ado, y'all, let's bring on Talaya Scott. Come on in. If I had a little round of applause thing, then I would absolutely be doing that right now. Yeah. What's up, Talaya?
Hey. Thank you for having me.
I'm
my
excited
God. To be here.
I know we've been super geeked.
Right.
You guys should have seen us on trying to figure out this StreamYard yesterday, and had a whole session. It was like, oh, wait a minute, let's say the good stuff.
Right.
So, people are going to be kind of joining, and some people may catch it later. Why don't we just start by you telling everyone a little bit about yourself and talk about, your business and company overall.
Okay, so my name, official name is Talaya Janelle Scott. I am an accountant. I have a master's degree in accounting. I have a plethora of experience. I've been in the military. I did 8 years there doing military finance. I transitioned into a Big Four accounting firm. So I worked for a public accounting firm for several years before I decided to branch out on my own. So I started a business called Fit Perspective LLC, and I wanted to focus on those who struggle with financial hardship in the urban and underrepresented communities. And the reason again is because a lot of things, financially speaking or educational wise, was hidden from us. It's not taught in schools. A lot of our families don't talk about finances. We like to tell people, mind your own business when you come to money, or don't count my money. Things like that. Because we try to keep our financial decisions secret, when really we are we're
Mm.
just struggling, and because of the embarrassment and the hardship and everything else that comes along with it, we normally isolate ourselves financially, and then we kind of struggle at it alone. And I grew up with a family that did the exact same thing, and when I got older, I just took it upon myself to go on this quest to figure out finances, because I went through so much hardship myself. And after I
Mhm.
was able to dig myself out of it, I found that to be my calling. And so FIT perspective, it stands for faithfully investing in the financial perspective. And the faith is because my faith is in God and God alone, of
Mhm.
course. And so I
Mhm.
believe that people who work towards that same goal, and with the strength of the Lord, you'll be able to get,
I'm on with the strength.
my whole mission is just to help people get unstuck, because
Mhm.
we all are here for a purpose, right? We all have purpose in us, passion, and we're supposed to be doing kingdom work. And
Yeah.
our bad financial decisions is keeping us from operating in our purpose. And a lot of us are working for money instead of working in purpose, and the money will follow. Well, the only way we'll get to that is if we start to make better financial management decisions, be accountable for our decisions, and start
Mm.
doing things the right way. So my company focuses on that. I started off writing a book, and the book is called So I Graduated. Now What Do I Do?
Yes,
And
book.
that's kind of like it's supposed to be like a sarcastic title, right? So I graduated. Now what do I do? Because you teach us math, science, English writing, geography, all of psychology, all of these other things, but financial management in high school. We learn the
Mhm.
basics like writing a check, debit card,
Right.
that's it, right? And so it's like you get to the point where you graduated from high school or college, and you face with these choices, and it's like, okay, I didn't learn any of this. I don't know what to do. And if your family don't teach you, you fall into the cycle of robbing Peter to pay Paul, dealing with debt. Your student loans is debt. So you got all of this debt thinking that you're doing well with the education you receive. And it's just one big cycle. So I
Yeah.
offer services to help people manage their finances. I offer tax services. I offer credit restoration services. I do bookkeeping. So I pretty much
Mm.
do it all just to help our culture.
Yeah, our community.
And
No, that's what was that last part?
I said our community, just like you
Yeah,
said.
absolutely. It's already like everything that you're saying is just resonating so much. And I know I'm not the only one. I can see people are already excited. I can't see everybody's name. It'll say Facebook user, but you can see
Somebody
somebody's
say
excited with the
yes.
yes. Okay. But but just some of the things that you said just stood out. And one thing that just stood up in me as you were talking was the fact that we got to be responsible. And I think it take the one of the responsibilities is to take a look at your finances, take a look at what's not working, take a look at what is working.
Mhm.
And I know that I've been very, very guilty of just going through the motions.
Yeah.
I get I bear, sometimes I'll see how much money I got coming into my account. Sometimes I'm just paying bills. I'm not seeing, I'm not even, even as a business owner, not really even realizing how much profit I'm making, because as soon as it come in, okay, it's going to this bill or it's
Mhm.
going to sustain this office. And I think that that's a big part of the issue, is that we're not taking time to look at what's actually happening. And you kind of brought up, so we'll take a quick little detour and come back, but you brought up something the other day with, with I don't know if it was a friend or a client that couldn't get some potential money, because during quarantine there's all of this money that you potentially could get, and the person couldn't get it because they didn't have was it a cash sheet?
It's like just not being able to, not having proper financial management, having a
Yes.
proper statements.
Yes.
And the reason why we were having that conversation the other day is because people don't realize that, first of all, everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. And
Woo.
Right now in the gig economy, it's cool to be an entrepreneur and make your own money. However, we can't be entrepreneurs and not focus on the things that drive a business. You can't run a business without money, period. And if you don't know how to manage money, then you have no business becoming an entrepreneur until you have that piece. And I'm not saying be an expert. I'm just saying have the foundations. Like every business should be able to produce financial statements. If you're not producing financial statements, you can't really say that you're in business because you can't prove it, right? And so a lot of times we have a lot of times we operate our business just like we live in our household. Your household is a business. Everything that businesses do with assets and liabilities, we have the same thing in our personal life. So if your personal life is in shambles and you're robbing Peter to pay Paul and you're trying to do all of these different things and you just are in a disarray, you start a business and you're operating your business the exact same way as you're operating your personal household. So the two are technically interchangeably, right? So if you can get your finances in your home under control, then you will be able to do the exact same with the business easily. And you just got to keep the two apart. Everything you do in your business bank statement should be complete from everything that you do personally. I see a lot of people, they like, I just use my business bank for everything. It's like, okay, but that's not okay. You could pay your We Energies and your phone and different things. Insurances, yes, but I shouldn't see Hooters and
Lord,
secret and but people don't know, so they'll just be swiping all through their business bank account, and then it's time to get a loan, and you got a credit or a loan officer looking through your bank statements like you using business funds for personal, like that's abuse of business assets. Like that's against the law if you were to own a corporation.
business account. A mess.
Right. You could get fined for that if you had a corporation, but you're thinking it's just my business. Yes. So it's just little things like that people don't realize. And that's why I'm making my mission just to help people get more educated. That's why the company is a financial literacy and education company, because I focus on the education piece. So I give advice and, show you how to do things, but I'm focused on the knowledge, because regardless if you work with me or somebody else in the future, you need to know this for yourself. So that's what I'm all about.
And that's what and so boom. So it goes back. So we're talking about, you said a little bit about community, and you talked about obviously your mission and vision and what you're doing. And again, to reiterate, this is why it's so needed. And I want to just share this amongst all of us, because sometimes we feel like we're alone in not being literate in terms of finances.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times what it is a perpetuated cycle of ignorance.
Yeah.
And it's your mama who did the best she could,
Yeah.
who don't understand finances, and or the grandmother who left all the finances to the husband, and then the husband passed away, and then she doesn't know what to do. It's all of those things.
Yep.
And then it's these poor behaviors that are then begetting other poor behaviors. I remember, and this is no shame, and I literally was talking to a group of college students. So there's a group called College Possible. And I was, they asked me to come in and just kind of talk to some of the college students. And they asked me like, what's some advice that I would give? And one of the things that I said, this was in terms of their student loans. I said, make sure you start paying back when you have the money. Don't just hope. A lot of times we want to wait and go into deferment or go into forbearance. That's one thing. And then the other part is, sometimes with those loans, they'll give you an excess, and you'll get this extra check. I think I got this big old, I think it was almost $10,000 in excess that I was given. And I remember talking to one of my parents, and they said, girl, that money's yours. Just use it. You better use that money. Like, no, that's your money for that. And I spent that money not knowing any better, but can't blame my parent because they didn't know any better. That's what they, and so appreciative of that. But do you want to kind of talk about that generational transition? Yeah.
So like I said, I grew up financially illiterate. My mom didn't have the necessary skills. My stepdad, because my real dad wasn't in the picture, my stepdad didn't have the necessary skills. And now that I'm older, I kind of look back on all of the decisions that I made. up until the point where I started to do research on my own, read books on my own, go to seminars on my own, go to school for it, just to get myself out of that mindset. So we have to realize that it's a mindset. And while I believe in generational curses, but then I don't, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I serve a God of excellence. So no matter what comes before me, why do I got to struggle with the same thing? Like
Wow,
that makes
but
zero sense
it
to me.
goes to that recognizing though. That's the thing.
Exactly.
If we don't look at it, we don't realize that we don't have to be that. Woo, girl, don't
Exactly.
make me shout and run.
And that's and no, but that really was my awakening. And I'm gonna tell you what really started my quest, right? Because I had already started studying accounting, and I was at the time I was at UWM, and I had finished off at Keller Graduate School of Management, but I started going to UWM because my undergrad is in technology.
Mm.
So I had no accounting classes, so I had to take all of these prerequisites, right? And then I went and got my master's, studied international business and finance in Europe for all summer in 15, came
Mm.
back, graduated, started working at EY accounting firm. I was in training, and I was sitting next to a white boy, a white boy. Now, mind you, it's like a funnel for some of these the white boys and white girls. So they go straight to these prestigious firms, and it's like their path is
Wow.
set out for them already. So he
Yeah.
had to be no more than 22 years old. And he
Yeah.
was paying his bank statement. Now I'm out of order because I was being a little nosy, but he was paying his credit card. And I looked over and his limit was like $20,000. I'm like, how does this 22-year-old white boy got a credit limit of $20,000? And it was his name on the statement. It wasn't no authorized user from his, on his mama account. No, this was his credit card.
Wow.
And that upset me because I'm like, there is absolutely no way that did he do differently that he can get a credit card for $20,000 at the age of 22. And I'm sitting over here struggling with
Struggling.
what I'm struggling with. My first credit card was what, 250? What can we do with $250?
Do you
And
know what $20,000 would have did for me back in the day? I
so
would have been.
exactly, you max that out and then throw it across because ain't no more left. It's like, what am I supposed to do with this? It's nothing left, and then you take forever to pay the 250 back. You end up giving them $4,000 or something crazy.
Wow.
And so that's what started my quest, because I felt so many emotions. I was embarrassed. I was mad. I was frustrated. Like, it was a whole lot of things going through my mind at the time. And then I was, but I'm a mom and my kids are teenagers. So I'm a parent. I'm like, my daughter, a teenager. How can I do that for her? Like, it was just so many questions going on in my head. And
Mm-hmm.
that really, really started my quest. And then I just started digging, researching, reading. I done read so many financial books. I done went to so many seminars. Like, I dig deep when I was because by that time I already had my accounting degree, my master's
Yeah.
in accounting. So I understood the business aspect, but I'm like, I need to get this personal lifestyle down. Like, this
Woo.
makes absolutely no sense for me. I need to figure out, and then I need to tell my people. Like, when I figure it out, I'm telling everybody else, because
Yeah.
there's no way. And that's the reason why we are centuries behind them, because the little stuff like that. But it's little things that we don't know, like we were talking about life insurance yesterday.
Yes, go in there. Go on in. Okay, so quick sidebar though. So y'all, I know we're kind of jumping all over, but this is still good. I hope y'all got like notepads and all kind of stuff out, because this is good, rich information that you would normally have to pay good money to be sitting with Miss Talia Scott. Anyway, but we were talking, because so with life insurance, this is something that I've never wanted to talk about, because when I think about life insurance, what do most of us think about? Death. And we think about it being for burial. We think about it for our funeral expenses and that type of thing. But I know as of lately, over the last couple of years, I've heard people talking about life insurance in a very different way. And so I wanted to to talk to you guys, we'll talk to all of us about life insurance. We could say from a single perspective, because so I'll say this last thing. Another reason was I didn't get life insurance was because I was like, okay, I'll just wait until I have a husband and some
Right.
kids. And because right now, what, it's just my mama. Okay, yeah, so all of this waiting. Now I'm 41 years old, still no husband and no
Mhm.
children, and I'm like, okay, I need to do something. And so there's a lot more to life insurance, and Taleia's gonna share a little bit with us. So I'm a hush.
Yeah, and we have to be realistic. Like you, Brandy, you have no husband and you have no kids.
Yeah.
You're rare, right?
Yes. Yes.
Because most
Unicorn is
people
what I call myself.
single, they have kids. Like
Yes.
if you want to talk ratios or percentages, the percentage of single moms and single fathers out there is way higher than a woman with no kids or no
Right.
husband, or a
Right.
man with no kids, no wife.
Really, even more so.
So you're in a special predicament, and I can
Mhm.
almost assume that a lot of people in this group that are single may still have kids. And
Yes. Yes,
so
I do.
life insurance is just important because what I was sharing with you yesterday is that life insurance brings a lot of value while you're living, right?
Mhm.
It acts as an income replacement when you pass away. So the whole purpose of life insurance is not to put a value on your life so that your beneficiary can just get all of this money when you pass away.
Yeah.
The purpose of it is to pay off everything that you leave behind, because you can
Mhm.
pass away suddenly and leave behind a car note, you can leave behind a mortgage, you can leave behind all of this debt that is going to fall on your family members. And
Mhm.
um that's why they ask you for people that can contact to get in contact with you, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it happened to me today, that's gonna fall on the shoulders of my kids, so estates and trusts and things like that are important to set up. Now don't get me wrong, like I know a lot about finances and I teach accounting and all of that stuff, but I'm not like a insurance expert.
Yeah.
But it is very important that we set these things up because, like I was saying, if I was to, or if anybody was to develop cancer and have to now go through different treatments for breast cancer, or with me and prostate cancer, your life insurance policy has clauses where you can tap into that money early on. So, like right now, I have a $500,000 policy with Northwestern Mutual, right?
Mhm.
Something happened to me where I lost a limb, my hand or my arm, or a part of my sight and things like that.
Yeah.
You tap into that money while you're alive. And there's different policies. You have a term policy, which is a policy that you would get for an extended amount of time, right? So term
Mhm.
policy can be 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, like that. And then you have whole life policies, which is essentially is a policy that should cover the span of your life. Whole
Mm.
life policies comes with cash value. So what
Mm.
happens is every time you pay your premium to have your insurance, sorry, your premium is either placed into a high yield savings account, like a money market,
Okay.
or if it's a whole life, it can be attached to the stock market. So as you pay
Oh.
your premiums, that money is placed into a high yield account or the stock market, and your cash value on your insurance policy will grow based on whichever the money is placed in.
Oh,
But
wow.
right now, I have a $50,000 whole life policy. It's not a whole lot, but I had the policy since I don't know. What am I? 30? I'm 36. So probably had the policy since I was 27 or something like that. But right now the policy might have like $5,000, $6,000 worth of cash value, which means
Mm.
if I needed to tap into that money right now, I can borrow against myself. It's my policy.
And there's no
Pay
interest,
it back.
right?
Huh?
And then there's no
No,
interest.
there's interest, but you're
Oh.
paying it back to yourself. So you can either pay it back.
Oh,
If you
sure.
don't pay it back and you pass away, it's just deducted from the amount that you've already taken out. So if my policy is $50,000, I took out 5,000 in my cash value and I never paid the 5,000 back. Something happened to me, 45,000 is gonna get paid out. That's how it works.
Gotcha.
You got to
Gotcha.
remember, like you got rich people who have whole life policies, and these policies are $1 million on their grandchildren. They take it out when the baby is spit right out the womb,
Yeah,
insurance
I wanted
policy.
you to talk about that. Yeah, talk
Right.
about that. Yeah.
Right. So think about it. A more wealthy person, because whole life policies are more expensive than term policies. So a whole life policy of $1 million might be a couple $100 a month, but if I put it on a baby, it's way cheaper because
Yep.
policies are cheaper the younger that the person is. So I get this cheaper whole life policy on my granddaughter, and she's just born, or my grandson, and they grow to be 18 years old. Well, in the beginning, the value of that policy, it doesn't start growing right away. It has to compound, because compound interest work in our favor when we have investments. So over the
Teach.
time that we're paying your premium every single month, that money is being placed into a high yield savings account, or it's being placed into a mutual fund or something that's attached to the stock market, and it's starting to grow over time. With compound interest, that money is going to grow astronomically, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
now that person, that kid is 18 years old, they have $1 million policy on their life and a cash value of $40,000, $50,000 or something crazy, because it grew over that span of time and it compounds. So the more it grow, with enough time, it can multiply faster. And so those kids will then take the money, start their own businesses, pay for their education, buy new cars for themselves, buy a new house, and didn't have to work for the money because the money was already there. Different things like that. So it's important, because I have 3 girls, but I didn't get insurance on my oldest until she was like 12, 10 or something like that. I didn't know no better. So I've been going
Yeah.
this whole time. I could have bought her a policy at her age. I could have gave her a $100,000 cash value policy, and she could have money saving until she get 18. But I'm late in the game, you know.
No, no, but you might have been a little bit late, but you did it. And my heart breaks a little bit. Not, just for there, because there's so many people, and no, I don't talk about the African American community that would never even think about this. But what they will do is they will take out uh they'll get their electric in the name of their baby.
Right,
They'll build debt
right.
with their children's
So
names.
I'll ruin your name instead of
I'll
building your name, which makes zero sense to
sis.
0 cents to me. But I talk about, all of that stuff. Should I talk about the book right now,
Oh
or
yes, go
okay?
in. It's
So
beautiful. Yeah.
so one of the reasons that I started everything is because of my whole story, right? So I wrote a book, and like I said in the beginning, it's called So I Graduated. Now What I Do. Now What Do I Do? But it tells my story. So I'll read the synopsis, super
Yeah.
quick. It says, So I Graduated. Now What Do I Do? Is an entertaining, comprehensive, and all inclusive read on real life financial concepts that are not being taught in urban community schools. This easy read takes you on a practical path of a girl who struggled in an urban community as a single mother of 3, trying to figure out life and financial management. Her financial losses, struggles, and bad decisions become the reader's gain as lessons in financial literacy are taught. This book informs and educates the reader on how to properly implement the financial lessons in their own lives. So, this is my real story. And trust me when I say I was not shy to talk about my hardship, because a lot of times is you'll find all of these people who are successful in financial management, got
Yeah.
all the answers, but what they don't do is tell people how they got there. So
Right.
people like us is like, oh, that's cool and dandy, I want to be like you, but you're not telling me your struggles. You telling me how to do it, but you're not relating to me in my everyday struggle of, falling off the bike. And
Yeah.
so I decided to talk about financial management from the age of 17 to pretty much 30 years old. And I
Yeah.
talk about everything that I went through. I did everything, like repossessions, uh,
Hmm.
bankruptcies, foreclosures almost, but I did a remodification. Um,
See.
like every financial hardship that you can think of, I went through. And I went through at an early age, but I made sure that I learned my lessons, along the way, especially
Right.
I found out what my purpose is. And so God put it on my heart to write a book. Now, I got to tell y'all, I have a master's in accounting, not
Mhm.
English. Okay. So if you find a misspelled word, charge it to the fact that it should have been caught. But if it's
Mhm.
just skip over it. It don't matter. We're trying to learn how to manage our finances. So
Yeah.
that's a disclaimer. If you find like some type of grammatical error, don't be like all hard on me. But
Mhm.
the book covers my life, and I talk about I go through an entire story, right? And so I talk about when I had my kids and when I implemented insurance, and I talk about credit. So chapter 1 is my life as I knew it. So I talk about me 17 years old going to the Air Force. And then
Mhm.
within chapter 1, I have the lessons on credit. I have the lessons on interest. I have the lessons on buying a car. I have the lessons on payday loans, because those are all of the things that I
Oh.
when I was younger, right? And then I went to part 2, and part 2 is from veteran to veteran mom, because I got out of the military when I had my first daughter, and I started working at Sam's, and I eventually went to We Energies, and I was there for like 7 to 9. I was there for 7 years.
Mhm.
And so during that time, I talk about insurance, right? Because remember, I told you I found out about insurance late. So I talk about
Mhm.
life and car insurance. I talk about buying a house, because I bought my first house at
That's so
25
good.
years old. And from the house, I talk about taxes, because now I'm working. I own a house. I got to pay property taxes, still do regular income taxes. So I go into that. And I also talk about investments, because a house is an investment, and so then from that I go into part 3 of the book, which is a revamped life. And that's like, I made all of my mistakes, I figured it out. Now, how do I start to rebuild, right? So
Yeah.
that's why I focus on, my target audience is about the age of 25 to 45, because it's like by 25 years old you can make a whole lot of financial mistakes. 25 years old to 35, you might have had a kid or 2 or 3, like I did. And it's like I already created this mess, like you teaching me this stuff, but that stuff I should have did when I was 18, 19.
Right.
How do I get out of this mess? And so my book talks about how I got out of my mess,
Mhm.
to the
Yeah.
point where I needed to write a book about it to help other people.
No, I love it. Y'all hear about this book, and so we definitely gonna put up how you guys can get it. You can definitely get it on Amazon,
And Barnes
and
and
just
Noble.
and
It's
Barnes and Noble,
mhm.
absolutely. And I'll add the links in the group so you can just click and go.
Yes.
But you absolutely need to have that book in your life. It's going to be in my life. I'll be purchasing on tonight. Um, but and the other part, obviously because this is an extension of Saved in the City, and so we have believers in the group, and
Mhm.
so from
Oh,
a
oh,
spiritual,
oh.
yes, what?
I'm sorry. Did I interrupt you? Okay.
Oh no,
Okay,
I was
I
just
just
no,
want to
I,
say
I
one more
know
thing.
sometimes those thoughts come. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
and I'm so sorry, because that's dead, and that's God wanted you to say that one thing, because I totally left it out. So this book is
Yes,
spiritual based. Like, this is
yeah.
just not another book on finances. This book is definitely spiritual based, and it was published by a Christian book publisher, Covenant Book.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And they put my book, because it was a financial book, biblically based. First of all, we have to realize that the Bible talks about money
Mm-hmm.
more than any other concept. So more
Mm-hmm.
than grace, more than faith,
Mm.
more than everything. Money, the word money is mentioned. I can't. I looked it up, but the word money is mentioned so many times, because
Wow.
God knew it was going to be a struggle area for His people.
Baby.
Baby, right? And then He knew it was going to be a power tool for others,
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
oppressed people, when it comes to money, different things like that. And so what I did was, before every chapter, I put a verse in the Bible that pertains to that. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just give you an example. So the very first lesson in the book is credit is chess, not checkers. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is. It's all about, the decisions that you make. And so these are the the three verses that I chose to go before that lesson. So Psalms 37:21 says, the wicked borrow and never repay, but the godly are generous givers.
Mm-hmm.
Proverbs 22:7 says, just as the rich rule the poor, so the borrower is the servant to the lender. So
Yeah.
it talks about if you owe debt, you always gonna be enslaved. And then Proverbs 17:18 says, it's poor judgment to guarantee another person's debt or put up security for a friend. So a lot of these co-signers,
Mm,
y'all out there co-signing for other people, or mama's co-signing for daughters. No, we don't want to do that. We want to teach them how to do it properly, and we want to manage our own money, not someone else's.
that's
And
so good.
so and so that's just an example. So before every lesson, whether it's buying a house, buying a car, investments, taxes, I pulled out verses from the Bible that speaks directly to that thing. The Bible tells us exactly what to do with our money. The thing is, we don't read the Bible properly. And
Yeah.
because of that, we find ourselves struggling with things that is simple instruction. The instruction is in the Bible. It tells us exactly what to do, especially insurance. I'm glad that you brought that up.
Oh, that's good.
Let me just show you one other thing, and then we can move on.
Yeah. This is so good, Talaya. Really, really good.
I'm just going. I'm just like,
No, the people, the comments are coming. Yeah, no, it's good.
okay. Car insurance lesson for 95. Okay, 1 second. 95. Okay. So right before the insurance lesson, I pulled from Proverbs 2:11. The reason why I pull so much from Proverbs is Proverbs tells us how to live our life.
Yeah.
So if you read the Bible, I made it a quest in my life to read the Bible from the beginning to end. I don't
Yeah.
randomly go through different places because it's connected that way
Oh,
for.
context. Yeah.
So Ecclesiastes is written by King Solomon, right? So he
Mm-hmm.
searched the world with all of these questions. He didn't know what was going on. He was like, Lord, why do we exist? Why do we do this? Why do we do that? He had all of these questions that nobody can answer. So he searched the world with all of these questions, and he realized that we're all just here for a certain amount of time. So our responsibility is to love and to help others. So after he did this whole quest, yes, the book of wisdom. Thank you. After he did this whole quest, then the book goes into Proverbs. So now that I understand what life is about, I'm going to tell the children of Israel how to live their life properly.
Yeah.
So I pull a lot of verses from Proverbs because Proverbs teaches us how to make the right decisions and how we should live our life in order to obey God and get the blessings while we're
Yeah.
on earth and blessings in our afterlife.
Wow.
And so, right before insurance, I pulled from Proverbs 2:11 and Proverbs 13-22. It says,
Mm-hmm.
"Wise choice." Proverbs 2:11 says, "Wise choices will watch over you," and then, "Understanding will keep you safe. Good
Mm-hmm.
people leave an inheritance to their grandchildren, but the sinner's wealth passes to the godly."
Wow.
So it clearly
Wow.
says, yeah, right. Wise choices will watch over you. Understanding will keep you safe. Good people leave an inheritance to their grandchildren, but the sinner's wealth pass to the godly. So it tells us we need to make wise choices. But what do? We buy a car, get insurance, drive off the lot. The very next month, we let our insurance lapse. And then we fall into this cycle. We get into a fender bender. Now we got a 2020 Cadillac Escalade that got a dented door. Like, why? If you like, how can you afford the truck and not the insurance? Like, it makes no sense. And so it's just certain things like that, just to say we have to be wiser when it comes to financial
Yes.
management. And that speaks to us being more disciplined. That speaks to us
Yeah.
sacrificing and going without certain things. But Black people, we got to be fly and we got to do
Ah,
things. But it's like we got to put stuff into perspective and say what really matters here. You
my
know,
God. Like I'm so glad you took that spiritually. And if I'm not mistaken, I know Darlene, she's one of the one of the Single Talk leadership.
mhm,
She's wanting to start a Proverbs challenge in the group. So we'll
mhm.
be reading Proverbs kind of throughout. But there was something else that you said that just resonated with me when you said that you said the wealth of the sinner will be laid up for
It
the
says
godly.
It says, good people leave an inheritance to their grandchildren,
That's
but
what we should. Yes.
the sinner's wealth passes to the godly.
And so this is the other part. So yes, I heard the other part. We do need to be conscious of what where we're putting our money. But the other part, and this is, see, here's the thing: there is blessing waiting on you, but if you don't know it's there, the Bible just said that the wealth is passed to us, right? It's there for the taking. But if we don't get aligned, if we don't read books like the one that Talea has written, if we don't begin to focus, then we'll miss out on people. You don't even have to be broke. We already got it, already said that there is wealth that is laid up for you. Okay.
And see, the thing is, us as a culture of people, we know that once we accept God into our life for Jesus Christ, we believe that he died on the cross for our sins, rose again, and ascended into heaven to be with the Father. Once we believe that down in our spirit, we're saved. But so many people hang on to just that. And know that they're going to get their blessings, when they pass away and we're with God, or
right. But we don't. Yeah.
But that's only part of it.
That's only part of it.
You can live in abundance right now,
girl,
on earth. So I can be super duper blessed now and super duper blessed later, but
and generationally blessed too, like all of that.
Exactly. But what we don't realize is, now I don't want to say we don't realize what I realize in my walk with God, because I've known God. I like to tell people I know of God, right? I grew up in a church. I did, all of the things to know who God was, like know of him, but I didn't get into deep intimacy and relationship with him myself until about 2014, I want to say, or 15. Around that time frame is when I started taking it seriously and start walking with him. And what I realized is that God operates in order.
Yeah.
Right. So it's so many blessings on the other side, but if we don't recognize simple lessons and pass that test or pass that lesson, we can't get to the next thing and the next thing, which is attached to so many blessings.
Yeah.
A lot of those things can be forgiveness, right? A lot of those things can be just becoming a giver. I didn't give before, now I start giving. Like, it's the little things, and he operate in order. And it's not like a one set order like for everybody. It's like just in obedience. As you start walking with God, he'll tell you to do certain things, and if you put that thing off to the side, like, oh God, that's too much, okay, I can't do that, you run around it or beat around a bush for a year, you're blocking your blessing for that year, or whatever. And the same thing goes with finances. Is order in that too. The book talks about, so many people, and I don't know where what chapter it's in, but the book talks about being able to obtain blessings, right? And it talks about how he wants you to make sure that you can steward over the small things before you steward over things. And so many people want raises, or they want to make all of this money and all of this stuff, but it's like, you get paid $2,000 a month and you don't do right by the 2,000. So why should you be blessed by $2,000 a month?
You know
what I'm saying? And so on. And when we are able to show ourselves proper and being able to manage certain things, then he'll gradually, bless you and bless you and bless you. It's not like, the big thing. And you can just think about people who win the lottery. The average person who win the lottery, they either be broke later, or they something happened to them and now they're more depressed, they're more
than ever,
high anxiety, and they end up killing themselves. It's like, you won a lottery, but that's how that the Bible is true when it comes to certain things.
Oh my God, Talea, I'm obsessed. You better teach us on today. So I really want to get to this one comment. This is just so good. It's so good.
Okay.
But I want to get to this comment because they've sent it a few times. Hopefully they're still
Oh,
on.
I'm sorry. All
Oh
right.
no, girl, no, this is what we're doing. This is good. That was rich. We needed that. So they want we can't see exactly who you guys are. The Facebook user says, can you touch on stock market and bonds?
Yes. So, okay, the stock market is super simple. Now, let me tell you something. I personally don't own individual stock.
Mm-hmm.
I have a mutual fund, and a mutual fund is basically a pool of money. So you have all of these different investors who invest their money into a mutual fund, and that mutual fund is divided between stocks and bonds, and you have the
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to choose what type of mutual fund you want to be in. You can be in a mutual fund that's super conservative, and so it doesn't take a lot of risk, or you can be in
Yeah.
a mutual fund that takes a lot of risk, but the reward is higher. But my book does talk, it does touch on stocks and bonds. What I can say about the stock market, though, guys, is if you currently have debt, and this is a conversation that
Yeah.
I was talking about yesterday, and some people might not
Oh, but
agree
I
with
want
me,
to
and
pay
that's
my debt off
perfectly
with it.
fine. But I just want to say, from my understanding of how money works, you have no business investing if you have a whole lot of debt, right? Because we have to focus on our net worth. Our net worth is our assets minus our liabilities, right? If our liabilities are like super high in terms of everything that we owe other people, investing will help us, but we still have high interest attached to our debt. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're not very certain that that investment is going to bring you a good return, at the end of the day, the stock market is still gambling. It's still a risk
Mm-hmm.
that companies
Wow.
might go out of business. And if you lose your money in the stock market,
It's
that's it.
on.
But that debt that you got, that's guaranteed, regardless if you make money or lose money in the stock market. So
Mm-hmm.
it's very important to tackle your debt first so that you can freely invest and make money through your investments. The only way you can truly grow wealth is if you invest debt free. So we should focus on becoming debt free first, and then focus on our investments. So first of all, the difference between stocks and bonds is the riskiness. Stocks are very risky because stocks are shares of a company. So we'll take Starbucks and Amazon. They both are on the New York Stock Exchange. They're both uh gurus in their industry, right? And so how stock work is, let's say Fit Perspective. Thank you. She said great info. So let's say Fit Perspective is a company, and I decided to put it on the stock market.
Mm-hmm.
I will have to go through a process called IPO, initial public offering. So what happens is you have to hire accountants, and those accountants will help you go through a valuation process. A valuation process determines the value of your company based on your assets, your liabilities, and your profitability, and a bunch of other ratios and complex formulas. And so once the accountants come up with a value, they'll say, okay, we can start selling stock at this price. That price can be $5, $8, $10. It just depends on a company. So it'll go through the initial public offering process, and it'll be the very first time that it's open on the stock market. And then news will go on. It'll be on CNN and Yahoo Finance and Google and all this stuff. Hey, it's a new company. This company is great. This company makes
Yeah.
money. Here's a reason why you should buy into this company. So then investors who got money and they ready to make money, they going to read the financial statements, because we need financial statements in our business, and they'll make a decision on if they want to buy into that company. The bigger the news around it and the more buzz that the company get, more people are going to say, I think I'm gonna try, I'm gonna put a few dollars. But even if, let's say, the stock is $5 and I or the $10, and I say, you know what, I'm gonna just give them $100, 10 shares, right? But let's
Okay.
say a million people in around the country invest $100. That's a lot of money. So
Oh,
because
sure.
all of that money went into the company, it drove the value of the company up because now it's more popular. This company has money, and now they have all of this money to expand. They can expand across the country, build more stores, more people are shopping there, so naturally the value is going up. So what happens when the value of the company go up? The value of the stock goes up.
Oh,
So
sure.
now I bought the stock for $10. After 2 years, the stock is now worth 50. So now I made I invested $10 per stock. Now it's 50. I made $40 times 10. It's now I made $4,000 on
Nice.
that stock, and I held it for 2 years. So that's how stocks work. Bonds
Mm,
are different. And the
mm.
person, I don't know who put that out, but let me know if this is a good explanation or if you were looking for my response to be something different. I'm not sure. But bonds are basically like loans, but it's a loan from a company to you. So if I go and get a bond from a major company like GE, right? Or even if I get a government bond, basically that means that they're borrowing money from me. So
Oh,
I gave them, and normally you can only invest in bonds like either in $1,000 increments or $10,000 increments. So normally when a person get a bond, they ain't getting little money bonds, they getting big money bonds. And so I give, let's just say I get a bond worth $50,000. Well, how bonds work is I'll give them my $50,000. They'll give me a bond, which is a certificate, and that certificate will have an interest rate on it. And it'll
mm,
say if the interest rate is going to be paid annually or quarterly or monthly, but you probably won't find one that's monthly. So quarterly or annually. So the bond can say, okay, you gave us $50,000 today. Quarterly, we're gonna pay you, let's just say a 10% interest rate on your money for the life of the bond. The bond can be about 10 years, right? And then after that 10 years, we're going to pay you your $50,000 back. So cool. I give y'all 50,000. Y'all pay me interest for 10 years and then I get my 50,000 back. So what's 10%?
mm.
$5,000. So if they paying that quarterly, every 5,000, I mean, every quarter, 4 quarters in a year, that's a check, 5,000. 3 months later,
Dang.
for 10 years. And
Lord,
then
let me get
after that,
this.
after that 10 years, they give you your 50,000 back. So that's 20 a year. So if it's 10 years, what's 20 times 10? 20 wait.
200.
Whatever the math is. So 5,000. So that's 20,000 over a 10-year period plus the 50,000 that you get back. So that's how bonds work. Bonds are more secure. So if a company go bankrupt,
Oh,
they include in those bonds and they payout. So I'm going bankrupt, meaning I gotta pay all my bills back when I liquidate or or when I go through the liquidation process. They're including me in that liquidation. Oh, I'm getting something because I got a bond with
oh, sure.
stocks.
Wow.
I don't care about stocks. Common stocks. No, you invested. You knew the riskiness. Our business went out of business. You lost your money. Keep moving. Chop up the loss. That's how stocks work. And so that's pretty much the difference. And so then when we start talking about mutual funds, so a lot of people, they'll play with stocks and bonds on their own. But if you really don't know what you're doing, you'll get a mutual fund and then you'll have a fund manager who manages the fund for you. Right. So that person, you're putting your trust in that person to pick the right stocks and bonds to go into the
Mm,
mutual fund. And then they're managing the riskiness for you. And they're responsible for making sure that your mutual fund has a high return on your investment.
okay. Yeah, Darlene says that it was her question and it was great info and very
Okay.
helpful.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Darlene. So as you know, this time has flown by. We're almost at 7:30.
Oh my
I
God.
know, right? I
Look,
already know.
I don't have a problem.
No, I love it. No, I absolutely love it. But let's what I want to tap into before we end, if we can go a little over, that's fine. But
Yeah, we can go.
was right. But was the quarantine the fact that we are in quarantine. COVID is
Oh,
a real
okay.
situation. And so what are some tips, some final tips, because the thing is, I still want to be timely. If people sometimes schedule other things, and I
Yeah,
want them to be able
yeah.
to go if
They
they have
probably don't
to.
want to hear us talk.
No, yeah, they do, but they're
Oh,
gonna come back again, and next time
okay.
we might have to charge y'all.
Right.
we can't give
Okay.
we
Well,
can't give you everything. Yeah.
first things first. I personally believe that this pandemic happened for a reason. And any person that's really walking with God and call themselves a child of God, all of the people that I've had conversations with, something was revealed to them during this time, something that they need to
Mm.
work on, or something that guys want them to do, or whatever. Financially speaking, I feel like this is the time where we all got like a hard reset, and we
Ooh.
everything slowed down, and we're saving, and we're not even trying to, right? Like my gas tank, I've had the same tank of gas for about 3 weeks. I filled
Yeah.
up 3 days ago.
Yes.
So I had the same gas for almost 3 weeks. Hello, like savings right there. I don't, I like to go eat out, but there's nothing open. So I'm gonna go get some food and then come back home. No, I might as well just cook. So I'm saving there. You know what I'm saying? And it's just all of these savings that are that if we just take the time to like look at what's going on in our life, is really the time to get ourselves back financially. What we got to realize is that during this pandemic, all of these businesses have shut down. They're looking for relief and all of these different things. So what does that mean? The stock market went down. The prices of these businesses went down. So if we were in a position where we're paying off debt, I can go and buy these stocks while they at the low, because
Right.
once everything is over, people are going to be marketing and finding creative ways to recoup for the time lost, and the value of those companies are going to go back up. So, are you going to ride the wave and make money off of these investments in these
That's what I'm
different companies?
saying.
But the only way we can do that is if we do what we're supposed to do with our money right now. Now, mind y'all, fit perspective, I am not like rolling in dough at all. Like I'm in my so June would be I started business 2018. So June would be my official 2 years. Last year, my numbers were okay. I made like a little bit under, 30,000. But in perspective of having 3 kids and having to take care of yourself, that's not a lot of money, right?
Mm.
But I also teach accounting. I teach adjunct, and I give people my business because I don't care. I'm not shy at all. So I'm a adjunct professor at 3 different colleges because I'm part-time. I still got to pay my bills. Each of them pay me a couple $100 per paycheck, right? So I finally was able to skim back all of my bills. So I don't have cable. I have Netflix, and it's somebody else's account, and I have like ours or something like that.
Yeah.
And so I made sure that all of my expenses, my monthly expenses, are extremely low as I can get them. So I probably dish out like $1,200 in expenses. My condo is paid off by the grace of God. So I
Yeah.
don't have to worry about that. But I still focus on all of the other expenses, because the whole goal is to have little expenses and high income. The disparity between the two is what we're trying to grow, so that you can invest and have a whole lot of money
Yeah.
after you made sure that you were out of debt. So right now, I encourage everybody to make sure um that they know what they owe. In a
Mm.
So if you don't know what you owe, that's number one. Get everything in order. And I actually put together a slideshow. I mean, not a
Oh,
slideshow, an Excel spreadsheet that I
yeah,
want to
sure.
share. And I'm
Hmm.
going to show you how to do that, because you got to know what you owe, and then you need to put together a debt repayment plan. I told myself
Hmm.
I was going to be debt free by June. Well, technically October, but now I'm going to be debt free by June. I was
You
just telling
said like 14,000.
yeah, the other day, between February and now, so February, March, April almost over, so almost 3 months, I was able to pay off $14,000 in debt. And I'm not rolling in dough. I'm just making very decisive decisions, and I'm sacrificing. And the pandemic has us sacrificing anyway. So there's no need to
Yeah.
Amazon shopping. There's no need to be on doing certain things when everything is shut down anyway. So if they're shut down, I'm shut down. I'm under reconstruction too, you know? And so
Wow.
I'm going to share my screen quickly.
Mhm.
And I want to show everyone what I have. So can you see this, Brandy?
Not yet.
Let me see. Okay, share. I want to share this.
It
There we go.
worked yesterday.
Nope, it's
Oh,
coming.
here it goes.
Okay, now can you see it?
Oh, I think I have to add it into. Hold on, let me add it to the stream. Boom,
Yeah,
there it
you
is.
got 4 minutes, and I want to make sure I
Oh
go.
no, go. You good? I don't know. I don't know how they can see it. I don't know if it's big enough on there. Let me see how they.
Yeah, they can see it
Yeah.
because I see my phone
Oh yeah,
right.
I can see it. Oh, that's cool. Look at us.
Okay.
We fancy.
Okay, so listen, guys. So I created this, and this is something that I use with my clients, but it's very, very important. And I basically call this little if you look at the top, I'll call it my fit financial life, right?
Mhm.
Because we have to make sure that we understand everything that's out there on us, everything that we owe, everything that we have of value. So this first tab says, what kind of spender am I? You got the emotional spender who basically spend when they happy, sad, mad, it don't matter. You got the impulsive spender who spend without thinking. I mean, you know, they shop on impulse. You got compulsive, I spelled that wrong, sorry. The absentee minder, social spender, it's on sales spender, reward spender, and spender by category. I just explain what these are because it's important to know how you spend so that you can combat that thing, right? And that's when you're under financial reconstruction. You have to be able to identify the type of spender that you are and then be conscious, aware of when that thing is tapping in, you know?
Yeah.
Once you understand what kind of spender you are, I have a net worth schedule because everybody needs to know your net worth. Your net worth is your assets minus your liabilities. Your assets is your cash, your checking account balance, any savings you have, any investments you have, any retirement accounts you have, the market value on your home, any cash value life insurance policies like we just talked about, the value of any rental property you have, the value of your cars, any money that's owed to you from anybody else,
Yeah.
things like that. And then we look at our liabilities. So our mortgages, home equity loans, student loans, personal loans, credit cards, auto loans, all of this stuff. And the difference is our net worth. If this is negative, then that means you have a negative net worth. You owe way more than what you currently have. It's important to know your net worth because as you dig yourself out of debt and as you invest in things, your net worth has become positive. So, you know, they like to talk about the net worth of Oprah, Bill Gates, Beyonce, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And this is what they're talking about.
Gotcha.
Then we want to look at our necessities chart. Your necessities is the things that you need. You can look at your mortgage, utilities, phone, Wi-Fi, your car insurance, life insurance, water and taxes, groceries, gas, all of these things that you absolutely need to live. What's the cost per month? And then you can calculate from that month times it by 12 to get what it costs you a year. That should be your base. I need to make, if that's $30,000, I need to make $30,000 at least to live, right?
Yeah.
Anything beyond that, what am I going to do with that money? Am I going to pay off my debt so that I can get to investing? Or am I just going to totally disregard my financial life and go on trips and buy bags and Gucci this and concert that, you know? And then it talks about the motivation around it. It asks you, could you spend less or eliminate that debt? And then if the amount fluctuate, can you just get rid of it completely? And then I go to a budget schedule. I have two types. So you can do it this way with the spending plan, or you can do it this way. And it's just one is horizontal, one is vertical, but everyone is different. And then the last tab is your financial goals, right? So your financial goals lays out your goals in front of you. And it basically, in this column, you list out the goal. In this column, you say how much it costs you to get to that goal. And then you set a timing by it. So, you know, if it costs you $225 to pay off debt for 12 months, then you set out a plan to say, okay, for the first, I have an example here of paying off $2,000 in debt, but with interest, I say that it's about 2025 or somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I want 12 months to spend it off. So my goal, it says I'm going to pay $250 every month from January to
Okay.
April, and then 155 from May to December. So it's just like something to, and I can send this to you, whoever wants it, they can
Oh,
get it.
that's great.
My website is right there to get additional help. All of my information is on
That's
there. But
awesome.
that
That'd be awesome.
basically what let me stop sharing my screen. But that basically is just a tool to use to get everything in one area so that you can start to see where your starting point is.
That's it's so phenomenal. Like this is priceless. And when I think about Milwaukee, the people who are in the city doing the work and trying to provide platforms and things like this for people to be connected to. For those people that have stayed with us and those people who will watch later, take this knowledge
Yeah.
and run with it. Talea, sis, you could be doing this and speaking to tens of thousands of people.
That's
You know,
what God
I'm
told me. I just don't know how long it's gonna take, but He showed me my vision.
oh,
I was standing on the stage, and it was like thousands of people.
because it's people doing it and they don't have half as much knowledge or charisma as that you have. So
Aw.
the season is now, the time is now, and it's not by chance that we connected. We already know
No,
we're
we
gonna work
did
some things
that.
out. God is able.
Right.
So again, you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this. We've touched on so many things. We'll let Talea have some final words, but again, this has been single sessions. We do this once a month.
Mhm.
We'll be talking about various different topics that affect singleness or singles as a whole. But Talea, give us some final parting words, kind of wrapping up everything, and then remind them of how they can reach you and how they can get the book.
Okay. So I don't even know what my final parting words is. I just want everyone to take their financial life seriously. It's just time out for just living all willy-nilly and not necessarily holding ourselves accountable and putting in the work to actually be
Yeah,
great. We have the right to be great when it comes to our finances just as much as anybody else, but we have to put in the work and we have to put in the discipline to do it. I consider myself a coach. I hold all of my clients accountable and I'm not judgmental. So if when clients make mistakes or they don't hit the mark that we set or the goal, it don't matter. As long as we keep trying and keep trying, because one of them tries is gonna stick, just
yeah,
like it happened to me those years ago. And but I was determined to figure it out. I was determined to do better. Like I'm like, by any means necessary. I serve a great
yeah.
God. I'm gonna be great at my finances. Like that type of, but that's really how I was. It's
No, definitely.
if you go into it with that attitude and not give it up, and you have somebody like me at the side because I'm dope and
Hey,
God is dope,
hey,
like
hey, hey,
we
hey.
can get this together. And so if you want to have a consultations are $35. I go through so much and you'll learn so much in the consultation. So if you want to talk, my name is Talaya Scott, Talaya Scott. You can look me up on Facebook. I'm there. You can call me. My phone number is 414-209-5290. You can email me at talayaScott@fitperspective.com. My fit is spelled with two I's, FIIT. So if you go to fitperspective.com, that's my website address. All of my information on me is out there. I'm also on LinkedIn as Talaya Scott. I'm on Instagram as Fit Perspective. I'm super easily accessible and all my information is out there. And I have like a 100% response rate because I be trying to help
I
everybody.
love it.
So
She ain't lying.
if you want help, just reach out to me. I'll be happy to devise a plan. I'll be happy to go over that Excel sheet I showed you together and just start from the ground up and let's get this thing. We all deserve to be,
Whew.
blessed. We blessed and highly favored. So that means our finances too, y'all. So
Yes. Oh my God. I'm so quick. Go through a couple of these comments. Thanks to Leia. This was great. Can't wait to
yeah.
get your book. Yes. I don't.
The book is on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. We're gonna put the link. Make sure you get
Yep.
it. Me and Brandy was brainstorming yesterday to see how I can get like a book club going on. We can read
Yeah.
a chapter, come together, discuss finances, figure out how to get unstuck in this whole situation. So
Yeah.
stay tuned with that, y'all.
Yeah, and here's another one. They definitely want the book. Definitely enjoy this. Somebody said that's so
That's
good.
good.
Somebody said they
I
got rid of
don't
cable, honey. That's what
understand
they
who
was
paid for cable. Like, get out of here.
right. Somebody was so excited that their comment was on the screen. Hey. Oh, it was so much. Somebody said great info. So many different things. Let's see here. Financial literacy is a game
Yes, it
changer.
is. It really
Oh
is.
yeah, money insurance. I
Money
think
insurance.
that's when we were talking about life insurance,
Oh
I
yeah,
believe.
yeah, yeah.
Not every bill is a shared expense. I
I
had to
had to
learn
learn
that. Yeah, that makes
exactly,
sense. Yeah,
exactly. That goes to like I don't share my phone bill with nobody. All them family plans, nah. Every man for
right.
himself. Okay.
Oh yes, exactly. Now let me find this so I can take it out. Yeah, so now all that being said, guys, this is it. So thanks again for tuning into Single Sessions. We'll take all of what was I gonna say? Yes, we're gonna get this book. We're gonna that's what I was gonna say. Talay, so cute. Yeah, she's gonna send me all her links. I think I might have them. I'm gonna post them in the group so you support this sister. What she gave to us is completely priceless. And it was something else I was gonna say. Additionally, share. If you got single friends, man, invite them to the group so they can get connected. But I'm also going to put this video on YouTube and I'm going to share it with,
Yeah.
with the world because other people do need to be able to get this as well.
Yes, that might be how I get my breakthrough, y'all. We gotta change as a community
Yes,
across
we
the
do.
country. So y'all help me
Absolutely.
get there because I'll just be trying. I just
Oh
be
yeah, no, you getting there. You getting there. It's the season, like you said, it's reset, and I think this is just going to be a launching pad for a lot of people in this season. So again, I'm so
yeah.
excited and so grateful for you. Again, thank you to everyone that joined us. We'll see you in a month. I can't tell
Oh
you what the
yeah.
next session is going to be because I can't remember, but I think we're talking about sex. Oh Lord Jesus, bless us up in here. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. Thanks again,
Bye.
Talaya.
See y'all later.
Bye.